The sun dipped behind the hills, painting the tiny village of Norabad in soft amber. A gentle breeze carried the smell of wet earth, and the dusty streets glowed like golden threads. In the middle of the village lived Amon, a 12-year-old boy whose heart was far bigger than his size. His mother often said he was born with a light inside him, one that could brighten even the darkest corners of the world. Every evening, Amon helped his father at their small lantern shop. The store wasn't fancy. It was simply a wooden shed filled with glass lanterns that shimmered like trapped stars. 4 generations, Amon's family had kept the village glowing through storms, winters, and long nights. But times were changing. The world was moving to electricity, and only a few villagers still bought their lanterns. Amon's father feared the family legacy might fade like an old flame. One evening, as Amon polished the lanterns, he saw worry etched deep in his father's eyes. "Baba," he said softly, "the world may not want lanterns now, but light is still light. Maybe it's not the lanterns people need, it's the feeling they give." His father smiled sadly, unsure whether a child's optimism could change the harsh truth. But Amon believed. That night, a sudden storm roared through Nurabad. Trees bent, windows shook, and the entire village plunged into darkness as the electric poles snapped one by one. The wind wailed like a restless spirit, and rain drowned every whispered hope. People rushed out of their houses, frightened and disoriented. The night felt too vast, too heavy. Just then, Amon stepped outside with a single lantern in his hand, its warm glow cutting through the chaos like a promise. He held it high, and the villagers turned toward him, drawn to the solitary flame. "Come to the shop!" he shouted over the wind. "We have light." One by one, families gathered under the shelter of the shed. Amon and his father lit every lantern they had: blue ones, golden ones, tiny ones shaped like flowers, and big ones shaped like moons. Soon, the little store looked like a sky full of stars that had fallen to earth to help the village. Children laughed as the warm lights danced across their eyes. Mothers sighed with relief. Elders whispered prayers of gratitude. For hours, Amon ran around handing out lanterns to the villagers, his small hands moving with the speed of hope. A little girl tugged at his shirt. "Why are you giving them for free?" she asked. Amon bent down, his lantern illuminating her curious face. "Because darkness makes people forget how beautiful light can be." By midnight, the storm finally calmed. The village glowed with hundreds of lanterns placed on roofs, porches, and windows. It looked like Nurabad had wrapped itself in a blanket of warmth and courage. When the electricity returned 2 days later, something unexpected happened. People didn't put the lanterns away. They kept them beside their doors, lit them during dinners, and carried them during evening walks. The lanterns became symbols of community, reminders of a night when an entire village survived because one boy refused to let their light go out. A week later, a man from a nearby town visited Amon's father. "Everyone is talking about your lanterns," he said, his voice full of admiration. "We want to place an order, 50 pieces to start." Amon's father stared at the paper in disbelief. His eyes glistened as he looked at his son. For the first time in years, hope sparkled in his smile. That night, Amon sat outside the shop, watching the lantern sway gently in the breeze. The world had changed, yes, but so had he. He realized that sometimes the smallest flame can guide the biggest journey, and sometimes a child's heart can hold enough light to brighten an entire village. The stars peeked through the clouds, twinkling as if nodding in approval. Amon smiled back. Thanks for watching. If this story brightened your day, please like and subscribe for more content that inspires.